Hi, in this video, I wanted to talk about the differences that you'll face when crocheting with the right side facing out versus the wrong side facing out when crocheting amigurumi. Now, what does right and wrong sided crochet even mean? Well, at some point in time in history, someone crocheted the first piece of work and they got to decide what was physically the correct side for crochet to be facing outwards and what would be the wrong side facing outwards. And you might be wondering, why is that even important? Well, it's important mainly so that you, as the crocheter or the purchaser of a pattern, when you see that pattern, you want to make that shirt or that scarf or whatever exactly the same way as the designer did. And if you end up having the wrong side, as they call it, facing outwards, and it looks different and you do not like it that way, well, then it's good to have that term, right and wrong side, so you can figure out which side you want to show outwards and which side you want to face inwards. So here in front of me, you can see the left chick is crocheted with the traditional right side facing outwards, and the right chick is with the wrong side facing outwards. As you can see here, the left chick has more pronounced horizontal lines, and the chick on the right has what I would consider more of an X shape to its stitches. And this is why I personally, as a crochet designer, crochet all of my amigurumi with the wrong side facing outwards. I, for personal reasons only, just aesthetics, like the way that the wrong-sided stitches look. So I'm going to show you, because now that you've seen what right and wrong side crochet looks like, we should get to the point where we're going to see, how can you tell? How can you tell if your work is on the right side or the wrong side? That way you can decide which you prefer and how you want to crochet your amigurumi. So here I have two examples. Two pieces of work I've already started working on. One is using the right side facing outwards, and one is using the wrong side facing outwards. So let me just get this. Here we go. So on the left here in orange, I have a piece that's worked with the right side facing outwards. And here, if I bring the chick over, you can see that very clear horizontal stripe type of stitch. But if you don't have a piece of work to be as a reference, well, there's an easy way you can tell. And it depends on your position with the piece of work. Let me explain. So for this, we have yourself right here, then the hook, then the piece of work. This is how you would crochet it. So let me show you. As I start to crochet, you can see that my hook always stays between me and the work. It always stays that way. Then, as you can also see, as I'm crocheting, I'm moving the work over so I can get to the next piece. And if you look at it, you can see that I'm turning the work in this direction, which is a counterclockwise manner. That is how you can tell if you're working with right-sided piece. So let me show you what it looks like with the wrong side. Now immediately you probably noticed one difference. It's the position. We have me, then the work, and then the hook. So, and as I crochet, you can see that my hook always stays on the outside, away from me, with the work in between. And as we're crocheting and I'm moving the work, you can also see how it's turning. I am turning it this way in a clockwise manner, which is the opposite of the right-sided work. Now, if you find yourself working with the wrong side facing outward and you've gotten this far, you could technically just pull it and turn it inside out. And there you go. You have the stitches looking the same as before. However, when you work with the wrong side facing out for quite some time, your gauge and your tension is going to change. So if you notice that these two pieces, now that they're both right side facing outward, this one I can tell is a little bit wider. So I know my gauge is not completely correct as this one is. So if you're working on a piece and that bothers you, you may want to frog it and start over again. And next time, keep an eye out of where your piece is compared to your hook. So let me do that again, show you one more time. Right-sided crochet. As you're crocheting, you have yourself, then you have the hook, then you have the work. If you're doing wrong side facing outwards, you have yourself, then the work, then your hook. And as you crochet with the wrong side facing outward, your work is going to turn clockwise. The right side, it turns counterclockwise. Okay? And there's one more thing I need to explain about crocheting with the wrong side facing outwards. And as you've seen, it is reversed. Everything is reversed with the wrong side facing outward. And that includes the front and the back loops. So when you're crocheting front or back loops only in a piece, that is reversed. So let me give you an example. If you're crocheting this as the body of a fish, and after you're done, you want to put some scales on the outside. So you want to leave an unworked loop on the outside for you to put those scales in, crochet those scales later. Well, if the work for the right side says, it would say crochet into the back loops only. As you can see, when we're doing this, if you crochet into the back loops only, you still have these unworked front loops that you can later put those fish scales into, crochet some scales into. But you can't do that with the wrong sided. If I crochet into the back loops only, look what happens. Here are your unworked loops. They are inside the piece. This is where you're going to put the stuffing. So when you look on the front, there are no loops for you to put those, to crochet any scales into. So what you have to do is you have to work the opposite of what your pattern says. And this is why I consider working with the wrong side facing out to be a little bit more of an advanced beginner or intermediate skill. Because if you don't think about this, you could honestly ruin your entire crochet piece. You could finish it all and not even notice that you've messed this up, that you needed to reverse these stitches. And then you have to redo everything. So as you can see, if I do the front loops only, here we go. We have those unworked loops on the outside of the piece that we can then put those little fish scales into. And that's about it when it comes to working either right side or wrong side crochet. In the end, the terms don't actually mean that this is the correct way and this is the wrong way. It's all up to you and your personal preference. But it's important to understand which side of the crochet you are working with, so that when you are working on a crochet pattern, you can have it look the way you want it to. And on top of that, if you are working the wrong side crochet, you need to know that the loops are reversed. Otherwise, you could end up messing up your entire pattern, your entire piece, by crocheting the wrong loops. So I hope this helped you, and if it did, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, comments, leave them below, and I will get back to you. Bye-bye.